timing is everything.
Yeah,
Thomas.
100%. Perfect. So welcome. Like you will talk about like SAP cloud migration and operation, especially like the reliable and noiseless thing sounds quite interesting. So looking forward to it. And like stage is yours. And not good luck, but have fun. I
Thank you
learned out
very
of it.
much, Thomas. Yeah.
Thanks.
Try to make it happen. Yeah. Okay. So
Perfect. Thanks.
I will share my screen. Let me see. So now you should be able to see my screen.
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay. So yeah, as we just heard, cloud is getting more and more into the SAP arena. But how can SAP benefit from clouds like Google Cloud without disturbing the business too much? That is what I want to emphasize on during the next 15 minutes together with you. My name is Rainer Ferst, working at T-Systems as an offering manager for SAP operational services. I want to highlight some topics and want to share some observations I made in the past. I hope this will be a trigger for the discussions later at our virtual tables. We had some tests already before the presentation, so I really look forward. It works good, this platform. So in my teaser on LinkedIn, I raised the question if it makes sense to migrate SAP workloads into the cloud or if the systems should stay where they are today. And to be honest, there is no common answer to that question. It depends. But of course, there are some indicators which might lead you into the one or the other direction. Today, I want to share some of my thoughts, experiences with you. Perhaps you already know about all these things and you did find your answer, but if not, I will be more than happy if this pit stop will be a trigger for you. So I'm curious on our discussions at the tables afterwards. If we look at the market today, we can see that there is already a lot going on in the public cloud. Almost all enterprises do have strategies in place which leverage clouds. And as we can see, they have multiple clouds in focus. It seems as if there is no one size fits all offering in the market. Each cloud have different strengths and customers seems to know about that. I think this is obvious because almost half of the enterprises, if we look to the slide, are already have workloads on the cloud. But this, on the other hand, means, of course, that the other half is still somewhere else. And the question is why? And we will have a closer look to that in 1 or 2 minutes. And what are the drivers for enterprises to move workloads into the cloud? There is no doubt about that flexibility and scaling is one of the drivers. But as I recognized, it is more and more the possibility to get in contact to highly sophisticated services which are offered in the cloud and which will really support the business and are almost for customers like you impossible to be implemented on your own. I talk about services which help enterprises to drive their business transformation into a more digital era. But coming back to the impediments to cloud adoption, one is already mentioned here on the slide on the right side. It is the growing fragmentation and industry compliance, which is of course addressed by initiatives. But there are also other issues I heard in customer discussions. For example, the need for a migration of systems, which always means an at least temporary interruption of the service that supports the business. Many industries, such as the automotive or industry or logistics, cannot afford that. It is almost impossible to find a maintenance windows here since services are always carried out around the world, and that means around the clock. Another reason, of course, are ongoing contracts that have to be fulfilled and investment that still have to be amortized. I recognize that many customers are starting an early engagement with us, also when their system landscapes are still on premises or in a hosted data center. Let's have a closer look at the affection in running services. Unfortunately, as we all know, the problem of service interruptions cannot really be avoided entirely. But there are, of course, ways and measures to keep the impairment as low as possible. And T-Systems and Google have a lot up their sleeves to support this. The aim is always to achieve the optimal uptime in all phases of the life cycle of a SAP system. And this is not only highly reliable, but also at a reasonable cost. Of course, you can achieve a high degree of availability with unlimited resources, but to be honest, in my career, I have not met customers so far willing to spend more money as necessary. So it's all about the balanced ratio between effort and benefit. So first of all, let's take a look at the migration topic. In other words, the transfer of a SAP system currently used by the customer into the cloud. From my point of view, this is where experience and a professional tool set count. As a migration partner of our customers, T-Systems can contribute both. We have been able to gain experience as an outsourcing and hosting partner over almost the last 20 years. Each of our more than 500 SAP customer was migrated to a different platform by our migration team. If it was our own private cloud platform in the initial phase, or more recently, a public cloud like Google Cloud. During this time, T-Systems migrated more than 10,000 SAP systems and learned a lot and refined its methods. This ends up in the fact that we built up an SAP data migration factory that does nothing else all day but migrate our customers' SAP systems and data. Our migration factory is supported by professional toolset, and here we rely on our partner SNP, especially when it comes to downtime optimized migration. With the SNP tools, on the one hand, we are able to prepare the migration very well by using the powerful analysis tools and thus generating a reliable basis for the migration. On the other hand, the tools also allow complex projects, which usually result in several project steps, to be combined and thus usually allow such migrations in one step. I've listed the results we generate with this practice on the slide on the left. A more than 70% shorter downtime on average is a very decent result in my eyes. Incidentally, we also achieve a reduction in cost of over 30%. Customers also welcome the fact that the use of tools reduce the risk of such a migration. There is one recent example where a customer was facing a necessary downtime of nearly 5 days. This was, as you might imagine, not really feasible. It was a 40 terabyte HANA database, uh, SAP database, which we managed to migrate within 10 hours with the help of the SNP toolset. Adding necessary interface adoption also gave us the possibility to reduce it to 36 hours. And that is really a good achievement. But migration to the cloud is only one thing. At least as important is the availability of the SAP systems during ongoing operations. Also here, customer benefit from our many years of experience. And here too, we consistently rely on tooling and automation. You can imagine that with the automation of activities as part of a change, we achieve a much higher level of reliability than with manual activities. Manual activities are so often the cause of malfunction and result, of course, then in downtimes. With our automation tools, we achieve a quick and safe implementation of changes to SAP systems and also reduce operating cost. Our customer benefit from this and receive cost-effective and safe operations. But of course, in addition to the stable operation, the excellent availability of the platform also plays a very important role. Even if the hardware is becoming more and more reliable, failures will always occur. And this is where Google comes into the game, providing some unique features for SAP in its cloud. So there is the automatic initiation of a live migration of a server due to found RAM errors. It's really unique in the hyperscaler area. The possibility of a precisely fitting combination of vCPU and RAM ratios which is so important for SAP systems, can currently only be found on Google Cloud. The great offer of Google for SAP workloads is rounded up by the possibility of supporting up to 16 HANA nodes in a scale-out architecture, as we already heard from Hannes, and that will result in a 192 terabyte database. As you can see, the combination of Google Cloud and T-Systems really brings forward your approach coming to the cloud. Oops, I have to switch. So let's get a little bit deeper on the details and after the main decision is taken to move to the cloud, customer often face the next level of challenges. And here is a list of some of them. So first of all, the cloud selection. Yeah, and this is strongly dependent on what you aim for. Is it just a flexible infrastructure or smart services you are looking for? Or here, yeah, in this case, I think you should consult a really experienced advisor. Network connectivity, my favorite, yeah, because we are from telecom. You know, network is our home turf, yeah. Please don't forget about the fact that clouds are normally located outside your current IT infrastructure. That means that network flows move from local area networks into wide area networks. So please take into your consideration that you have enough bandwidth available. It might also be a problem for some SAP application if there is too much latency on the wire. And please never forget that you might need a high performance solution during the migration phase. Tons of data have to be transferred during that time, and therefore there should be sufficient bandwidth. Otherwise, most of the time during migration will be spent waiting. If you're not used to it, it can be hard to identify the right size for virtual machines and storage. There might be also some restrictions from SAP side. Only a sub-certified subset of available resources might be used for productive workloads in SAP. Or there are some reference designs provided by SAP which have to be taken into account. And another fact is that SAP is not the only supporter for business processes. Normally, there are a couple of other non-SAP applications which are involved in the process. That means there might be some issues if only a part of the IT is moved into the cloud. This has to be analyzed prior to migration to avoid surprises, and there might be a lot of them. Yeah. This also brings up the need to take the right sequence during the migration to minimize the impact. So let's have since I have to hurry a little bit, I just want to bring one last topic which often is underestimated. And this is the topic of licenses. In the cloud, your long-lasting license agreements might not be the right one anymore. Therefore, take care that you have the right licenses in place. Performing the check right may also save you thousands or millions of euros. Yeah, that is really a big play. Yeah. It might be also a potential driver for your internal business case, of course. I'm, of course, not allowed to end up without pointing out that these systems can support you on all the mentioned topics. Over the last 2 decades, we built up a comprehensive SAP service portfolio, which offers our customers a one-stop shop. Next to the already addressed ones, there are, of course, offerings for consultancy and the S/4HANA transformation, of course, and if applicable, also the application management service, which come on top of the standard basis operations. Me and my colleagues would be happy to discuss all this on the virtual tables. But before we do so, I want to highlight one common activity from Google and T-Systems, which started last year in September. Hannes already mentioned it. And that is our joint approach to bring the sovereign cloud to life. Since this is a joint effort of T-Systems and Google, I would like to bring Hannes back on stage. Hannes, can you please join?
Maybe like quick interruption in between. Sorry. There's like one question from Andreas Tiedel in the chat. I'm not sure whether you want to answer it right now or whether you want to.
I think we can do it afterwards at the tables, I would say.
Okay, perfect.
Because we've got enough time, I think, at the end of the keynote. If it is okay for you.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. So, Hannes, are you back?
I'm here, I think.
That's great. That's great.
You're there, listening carefully, and yeah, great slide, great announcement actually. And T-Systems and Google are currently working together on this sovereign cloud, public cloud solutions for the DACH region. And there are announcements going around, and this is really exciting. I think, especially for the German market. And it would be great if you can share some more details on this, what it's all about and how we split the different things in this approach.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah, because something is still in a non-discovered version already there. Yeah. So sovereignty, in my eyes, can be divided into different levels. Yeah. A very important aspect, especially for Europe, is data sovereignty. This is guaranteed on the sovereign cloud by T-Systems taking over the complete key management. That means that a European company is managing the keys, and so nobody else has access to your unencrypted data except yourself. Yeah. And since T-Systems is a European-based company, it's automatically guaranteed that the right of EU data residency is given. Yeah. But let me share some more information about the implementation timeline, because the announcement was in September last year. And there will be 3 phases for the sovereign cloud rollout until we establish a sovereign cloud stack. In the first phase, starting this month, so in February 2022, T-Systems will take over control of external key management and the key access justifications. The first phase also comprises checking and logging access to personally identifiable information. During the second phase, which starts in 2023, T-Systems will take on identity and access management. This also includes audits and logging access to all client data, including permission changes. And in the last step, so in the third one, starting in 2024, all relevant platform controls will be transferred to T-Systems, including the root certification authority, so the RCA, which is responsible for having data encrypted at rest and in transit. So this was the point which is T-Systems is focusing on, and perhaps Hannes, you can give us some more information on how does it work together as a sovereign cloud and the Google Cloud itself.
Yeah, as you said, there are we need still to be careful in how exactly this works together. But the sovereign cloud solution from UT Systems is based on the existing Google Cloud platform and on the same infrastructure. So this has the great advantage that the features that are integrated into sovereign cloud are identical to the features from the Google Cloud platform itself. And many other sovereignty clouds run on dedicated or even decoupled infrastructures. And this will then not have the advantage we can show out here. So as you can see, this hardware and software layered stack with the different zones on this picture. Happy to go a little bit more into detail in the one-on-ones or in the table rounds then at a later stage. Yeah.
Thank you, Hannes. Yeah, I think hopefully we set some triggers in our keynotes and invite, of course, all of you to get into deeper discussions at the tables. Yeah. At the tables, you will also find some colleagues of us. Hannes already mentioned that Torsten and Sebastian is there from Google Cloud. And I'm happy that a colleague of mine, Andreas, will also be with me. And yeah, we would be happy to meet you at the tables. And I think now giving back to the control to Thomas or Joanna, I Thank you very much for your attention.